Good afternoon, 37 minutes after 3 o'clock. This is GB News. I'm Nana Akwe. Welcome. If you just tuned in, where have you been? It's fine. We're back. It's The Clash. Now, Keir Starmer says that Rishi Sunak plans to send migrants to Rwanda. The plan is now dead and buried, according to Keir Starmer. Labour are scrapping the policy completely. But is that the right call? Well, joining me now to discuss, Norman Baker and also Charlotte Griffiths. Charlotte Griffiths, is he right to scrap Rwanda?
Well, given that there's zero alternative plan, not really, because, you know, no matter how much you criticise the Rwanda plan, and many people do, there's literally no other alternative. And I'd be really interested to see the numbers this weekend, whether there was an uptick, because I've always been quite surprised by, many of us have done Vox Pops, you know, the Mail's done it, GB News, with the migrants, and they were actually deterred by the threat of Rwanda, no matter how small, it weighed on their minds. And of course, they were celebrating. They were, you know, there's lots of clips of them on the news this weekend celebrating. So the fact that there's just literally no alternative, you know, maybe they'll make an announcement on Monday. Well, that's already been 3 days of not curbing the boats in any way whatsoever. So I'd like to see the numbers.
Because even if it's the smallest of deterrents, and we proved it through Vox Pops, surely if it works in a way, it should be kept. What do you think?
Well, I mean, first of all, they pledged to abandon it in their manifesto. So, in a sense, he's doing what he promised to do, and he was voted in. So he said he'd a mandate for that particular policy. I think his analysis that the boats were still producing record numbers of people is correct. And it's also the fact that no one has been sent to Rwanda, and the cost of sending them there was going to be equivalent to putting them up in the Ritz. So there's a whole thing.
Well, not really.
Of things.
No, well, hold on, because it's about 8 million a day. It doesn't take many days for it to notch up to well over $500 million, which is what they've sent to Rwanda, and that is a rolling, continuing cost as well.
Rwanda was going to take, I think, just hundreds, and there were thousands coming in. It wasn't going to work.
Well, as a deterrent, if you know, usually with the deterrent, so for example, things like the death penalty and stuff like that, it does actually work, even though people say it doesn't. I mean, if you take somewhere like Qatar, where it's there, some of them have very few low-level murders and things like that because they know they could be killed if they do.
Well, we come on to the death penalty if you like, but I mean.
But I'm just saying that as a deterrent, deterrents do tend to work. It doesn't have to be hundreds of people that are going to be affected by it.
I'm not sure it was a deterrent, but anyway, the point is that it's gone, and what's missing so far from the government, the new government, is the alternative, and I think this is the issue. Rather than Rwanda, which is now history in a way, you said it's history, it's what you're going to do instead, and that's where the focus should be. And it's got to be partly on reforming what the Home Office does. The Home Office has been useless at processing people. People who are processed should either be incorporated to the country if they are deemed to be genuine asylum seekers, or they should be sent somewhere else and got out of the country.
Well, where else would they go?
Well, back to that's where they came from.
Well, yeah, but some people can't be sent back. So, for example, somebody from, I don't know, Iran or somewhere like that, and they fail asylum.
They're the genuine ones.
No, they may not be the genuine ones, but they've come illegally and they've behaved in a manner which we know that therefore they do not qualify. Then where do they go if they've got rid of Rwanda? Right. I think that's the problem we have.
We have to separate out the economic migrants from those who are fleeing for their lives.
Well, okay, and that will happen, yes. And then the ones who aren't, we've done that. Now the ones who aren't fleeing for their lives,
then they need to be assessed and processed quickly by the Home Office, which the Home Office doesn't do, and need to be removed if they're deemed to be not meeting the criteria for coming into the country. Yep. That's one strand.
But if they don't meet the requirements, then where do they go if they can't be sent back to their own country?
Why can't they be sent
that doesn't
back?
Automatically mean they qualify just because they can't be sent back to their own country.
Can't be sent back? Why can't they be sent back?
Well, maybe they can't. Maybe we don't have a returns agreement. I don't know. But there are migrants who can't go back who do not qualify.
Well, the one thing the last government did do correctly, in my view, on this issue, was to reach a bilateral agreement with Albania. And the result of that was a whole lot of Albanians were sent back, and the numbers coming from Albania reduced dramatically. That sort of approach is going to be the way forward.
But what about Keir Starmer's border command control or whatever this is? I don't want to laugh because I'm hopeful that it would work, but I'm not convinced.
Well, that's one of the many ideas he suggested gently that we're already doing. We're already trying to tackle the boats and the gangs and work closely with the French and tackle the border and create a border command. There already sort of is one. I mean, I don't see armies of Keir Starmer branded sort of officers marching down there being his new border command. It's pie in the sky, and it's what's already happening. He's got no concrete thing to suggest, has he really?
Well, I mean, he would probably say that is a good plan and that we are throwing good money after bad with Rwanda. But I would suspect that Rwanda is probably quite a good deterrent because, as you said, there's been plenty of people who don't want to go there and have made it quite clear.
Yeah, I mean, of course he had to oppose Rwanda and get rid of it on day one.
Why?
That's what he's promised. But he shouldn't have made that promise in the first place without having an alternative, a proper, credible, tough alternative, because so many people didn't vote for him, who obviously are very, very concerned about illegal migration and want to hear something from him. So, you know, he shouldn't have got rid of it.
Well, I think Rwanda was a gimmick, to be honest with you, but he needs to have a concrete plan. He hasn't got one, as far as I can tell. But I mean, let's not forget that the number of people coming into the country, by far the majority of people coming into the country from overseas are people coming in who are approved to come in, not the illegals, but the people who are legally coming in.
Well, that's
the number.
There's a problem with that too.
That dwarfs the numbers coming in by boats.
There's a good number of people who are coming in claiming they're fleeing for their lives, of course, who aren't.
Well, that's true. But equally, when the Home Office assesses them, about 80% of them are deemed to be genuine.
It's a lot.
Well, you know, we can discuss that. Some of your thoughts, gbnews.com/your say. Keep your thoughts coming. This is GB News. We're live on TV, online.